Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Good Guy Sports, joined by myself, your host today, Blake Gerke, Jackson Gerke, Mike Roby, and we have special guest, returning special guest, Grant Radikovic. Grant, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you guys so much for having me. The fall crisp is in the air. I'm
Oh,
on Good Guy Sports. We're about to play some football.
things are right in the world. Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna do a big preview of college football season kicking off this weekend. We got some major matchups, but we do have to start with a little bit of late breaking news here on Good Guys Sports. Recording this on Thursday around 6 p.m. and just about an hour ago, some big NFL news dropped. Dallas Cowboys trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, and Parsons will be signing a big deal with Green Bay, 4 years, $188 million, it looks like, which I think would make him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So some pretty big numbers going on there. I personally am surprised. I thought, given how good of a player Parsons is, that Dallas, Jerry Jones would find a way to bring him back. But Grant, I'll start with you. How surprised were you to see this news?
Well, I tell you what, it totally ruins my Jared Goff draft pick for my quarterback in fantasy football because I'm definitely going to need to switch that every time he plays the Packers now. And he's playing the Packers week one. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
I will be starting somebody else. But I think, you can't mess around. The professional guys are willing to, go somewhere else. They're willing to, you got to talk through their agents. I think Jerry Jones was really outspoken that him and Micah had gotten the deal done on their own, and then, David Muguleta, his agent, was like, that's not the deal we need. And of course, he's there to represent Micah. So you gotta go through the channels that need to be go through in order to get things done. I think that he was prepared to sit out the whole season, I guess. That's what I was hearing from other shows that I follow. So look, hey, Packers get stronger. They get a guy who's a game changer on the edge. They haven't really had anybody that comes to mind like that since Clay Matthews. So I mean, I think they're going to be strong.
For sure, for sure. Jackson, what was your reaction to the Parsons trade when you saw it?
That I am shocked and surprised that is my instant reaction that nobody saw coming. He has made his wish and he has asked for it. And Micah said that in this previous offseason that he wanted out of Dallas. Well, he got his wish, and really it has sent complete shockwaves and really in heartbreak fashion to fans that nobody saw coming on the sports airwaves. And that really tells you why there was so much drama and there was so much tension from this relationship from him and Jerry Jones, and how he understands that if one way or the other that they thought that they were supposed to come with a agreement that 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 Micah and Jerry Jones were supposed to sign a long-term extension to keep one of their best players to start Cowboys. Well that we know uh, uh, did not happen. So it turns out that turns out from what I understand is that the deal, they were unable to match it. It was probably at a higher price range, and from the dollars and the money that they were looking for, they couldn't match that. And I think that's part of the reason why they couldn't come to terms for signing him into a long term extension. And so that really shows and intuitions you that the money spent for guaranteed of how they couldn't come to agreement with just really tells you how important player is on their team, which now they lost one of their best veteran star players on this team. And and so now if you're Jerry Jones, you got to wonder how you're going to replace Micah, and that's really going to be a lot of question marks to be asked.
I
If,
mean, you
if you're
can't.
if you're the Cowboys, yeah, exactly, because you don't really have any other options at this point, because now without him, this Cowboys defense is is going to be more easily just go on against your opposing team, and that's gonna really wear you down, and going to really and, and it's going to be really dead last in the league. and really going to make you more easy to score on, especially when you lose him and that your next game a week from Thursday tonight on my birthday that
Ooh.
that they
In
have to
Philadelphia.
in South Philly
Welcome
at the
back,
Lincoln
right?
Financial Field,
Ooh.
and without him, that's going to allow the Eagles to score easily on their defense, and that's really what's going to happen with the departure of Michael Parsons. It's gonna be a very different and very unusual rebuilding Dallas defense, and that's really what's going to really happen out there in Big D for anyone I'm hearing out of the training camp in Frisco for those fans out in Arlington out there in
Yeah, yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah, no,
But
I
but
think I
for
want to jump to Jackson. I want to jump to Mike really quick
Yeah.
because so the return here I think was defensive tackle Kenny Clark, 2 first rounds pick in return 26-27. Were you surprised by that the Packers were the ones that ended up getting him and also the return or not so much?
Um, yeah, I mean, I just heard it a few minutes ago. I guess my first comments would be pick Prescott for your fantasy team because he's going to be throwing the ball because the Cowboys are going to be behind in a lot of games.
Yeah.
Uh, as a Commander fan, that's great news,
You're happy to have him out of the
you
division,
know.
right?
well,
But
all I can say is, Mike, is that you finally got Terry McCohen paid, but for Michael Parsons, different story, not so
yeah,
much, different situation. So yeah,
I don't know.
so yeah,
I just think it's crazy. Like the
well,
Cowboys
at least
are
they
supposed to
got
be the
yeah,
richest team in the NFL, right?
well, at least they got a couple of first round picks for him.
But the Packers aren't. I in 26-27. I'd be surprised if the Packers are bad enough to for those picks to be worthwhile, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you never know,
I guess, yeah. I mean, you have
but
to get something for him, but I
you got to
just
get something for him. At least they got that.
it must
Uh,
just been. I mean, probably a relationship thing
well,
where
but
Parsons
but
never
you
wanted to
have to
come back.
figure too, though, that those picks that the Dallas gave up are their picks. Dallas will probably have a high pick,
Yeah, exactly. So
you
their
know.
pick will probably be higher
So
than
so
Green
it's not
Bay. Yeah.
based on on the Packers record. It's going to be based on the Cowboys record.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
So those are
it's
probably really good picks.
no, yeah.
we should be happy, Mike, because like you said, you got Terry McCohen paid. Michael Parsons did not get paid, so he will not be he will not be in a Cowboys uniform, which
Yeah.
means which means some sigh of relief and something to be more happy and excited about, especially for anyone who's a Washington Commanders fan like Uncle Mike is. Should bring some sigh of relief and hope for the fans of the Burgundy and Gold, which should be which should be something that you don't have to be nervous and just be and be worried about, so that you can make Uncle Mike feel a lot better about this. Now he's traded away from your division, which I feel
We'll
like
see. We'll see. You just have to
I
go out
feel
there and
like
win a
you
ball
should
game.
be,
I mean,
which I feel like yeah right, which is something that you should be you should be more excited and happy about now that you don't have to worry about anymore.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you who's not excited. The defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys.
yeah.
Thinking he was going to have Micah Parsons all year and all throughout his whole entire, game planning and training camp. Now you gotta play with the guys you got there. I don't know who the backup is. I'm not super versed in Cowboys lore. I really, who I need to give a call to and give some, let's have a somber conversation with Jackson. Is remember Texas Bennett, big Cowboys fan from high school. I tell you what,
Oh yeah,
probably need
oh
to
yeah.
probably need to go get, make sure his windows are locked
He's having a
because
tough day right now.
you know
I'm sure.
he's he's just having a
Cowboy,
tough
yeah.
one.
Cowboy Nation's going through it right now. So we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just watched a Netflix documentary. I think Jackson, you watched a little bit of it too. The Cowboys and their dynasty in
Yeah.
the '90s started with the trade of Herschel Walker, and I doubt this trade is going to be the same. Have the same results if I'm
Different
just
time.
speculating there. But the same guy running the team, Jerry Jones, 30 years later, still making trades. So go figure. I doubt it will have the same results personally, but
And so with that, Blake, we can
Yeah,
officially say Philadelphia and Washington are the best teams in the NFC East.
we'll see.
The
We'll
the
see. I mean,
Giants
you
and the
still have to go
Cowboys,
there and play the
well,
games,
well,
Jack, you
yeah,
know?
the Cowboys and the Giants will be the worst team. That's how I see it. After what I saw
Hey,
from that trade going down.
those G-men now, they've got a good defense, so if they
Yeah,
can figure out how
they
to
could be
put
frisky,
a
yeah.
couple points together, they
And
might be
and
something,
who?
but
Well, you're right. You're right about that, Grant. And don't forget, even though Russell Wilson's probably going to be the starter, I wouldn't mind seeing an all SEC quarterback showdown between Jackson Dart and Jaden Daniels. I would love to see that
oh,
happen.
okay. You want a little Ole Miss LSU
I
circa
I
2024
in
or
the pro
five
level,
or
yes.
23.
In
Sorry.
the pro level, yes.
All right. All
In
right. All
the
right.
25 version.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
Sign
All
me
fair
right.
enough.
up.
Fair enough. Speaking of the SEC, we have to get to college football because that is the topic of today's show. College football season preview, matchup preview. That's why we have Grant on, big college football expert, and we have to start Grant with the biggest game of the weekend at noon, which is Texas Longhorns traveling to Columbus, Ohio. 1 versus 3 matchup. Texas being the number 1 ranked team preseason. All the hype, Arch Manning, number 1 team taking their talents to the defending champions in Ohio State, who are, despite being lower ranked, they are favored by a point and a half at home. Makes sense. Big
Yeah.
home field advantage there for sure. So, massive game to start the season, obviously. You couldn't really get a bigger kickoff, particularly between 2 teams that will have playoff title aspirations for sure. I'll start with you, Grant. How excited are you for this matchup, and how do you see it going?
Well, personally, obviously, I got to see both these teams live last year. I got to see Ohio State in the national championship in the CFP here in Atlanta. Luckily, I was doing some work with them and got to, witness them live. Don't think it's this. Obviously, you start over every year. It's a new team. I think, this game will be a defensive struggle early. I think that as anybody knows, if you're in, football at any level, like the defense matures first before the offense does. So they've probably won more days in their camps respectively for both teams. So I'm expecting a low scoring game. I'm expecting, I think at the, tail end, I think some people will make some plays. I think they got some good running backs over there at Texas. But I really think Ohio State will end up pulling it out because of Caleb Downs, the safety for them. He's all world, started his career at Bama, now is in his second year at Ohio State, so he's locked in on that defense. They had to change a defensive coordinator, but they got so much talent, really doesn't matter. I think that the Jimmies and Joes are really going to shine through. So I'm expecting a lower scoring game. I think it'll be, roughly, I think a 17-14, 24-17 kind of affair. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm stand at. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch this one. I will be hosting the Syracuse athletic director over there at the Chick-fil-A at the Aflac kickoff game. So I'll be
Oh
excited
yeah,
to, again, I'll be watching an
Oh yeah.
all-orange matchup, which I think will be 46-55. I think it'll end up being the better game of the day, but
versus Tennessee, right? Yeah, yeah.
that's just my 2 cents. But J-Dog, what are you thinking for these Longhorns, man? What do you like in this matchup?
So I think for me, this will be Arch Manning's biggest test going into a hostile crowd
This
at
is
the
only
shoe
test so far.
in
You
Columbus.
Yeah.
could argue.
Yes. Arch Manning, this is his team now. He was a backup last season, but this will be a new test for him going into a on the road in a tough crowd up there in the shoe. And he's getting a lot of attention as most likely one of the favorite teams to one of the best teams in all of the SEC, having to go against the Big Ten up there in Columbus at the shoe. So for me, I am taking the Ohio State
All
Buckeyes
right.
to win this game. It'll be a close game, but I have Ohio State slightly win this game. Why? Because I think Jemiah Smith and Caleb Downs will Caleb Downs, the safety, will sack and, and track down Arch Manning. Whenever it's a third or first or third or fourth down situations, he will track them down. The Ohio State Buckeyes play tough at home. they are, yes, fans do travel too, but this Ohio State team, with a star quarterback Julian Sain, who I think, in my opinion, is a little better than Will Howard from last year, and I think that this
Oh,
Ohio State team is going to win by at least 2 touchdowns,
Wow.
make it a close game. It's going to be 28-10 Ohio Buckeyes win.
and J Dog, we got Langston Vaughn here. I mean, I think he's going to disagree with you. I believe he's a big SEC homer, so he's going to like the Texas Longhorns in this game.
No,
Hey,
no, no, no.
Langer, hey, Taylor Langhorn, come on now. The Big Ten has won the national championship for the last 3 years. I mean, you're not getting a lot of you're not getting a lot
You're
of
not
respect
getting it.
from the conference. Not feeling it.
Respect the Big Ten.
You know what? You changed my mind. I think I want to go with Ohio State on this one. The home field
Yes,
is
yes,
very big. It's
yes.
an opener. Offenses typically start slow, as Grant's probably already hit on. So I like as the game goes on, Ohio
We
State
didn't even
rolls.
practice that. He just came up here and said that.
I just I
I
just
just
know
can't
the way
believe
you
it.
think.
Yeah.
Hey Jackson, here's a question for the gurus. The better question is Dave Portnoy going to be at the game?
Well, Greg,
Is he going to be allowed in the shoe? That's the
No
better
way. I
question.
don't
He
think
ain't in there.
so.
They
great
already
question, Blake.
said
Great to be with you, by the way. Also, I don't know if you know this, Blake, but this will be, but College Game Day will be there, and this will be, and this will, and I'm sure we are all, and I'm sure they'll all will be watching it on TV and remember it that this will be, and I'm sure that we're all heard about this, and all heard all we're talking about is all of us who are college football fans in general that this will be Lee Corso's last game and appearance with his for his headgear, which it all first started in Columbus, Ohio, and it will and this will mark the final one this Saturday. Hope everyone tunes in this Saturday at 9 a.m. That this will be a very emotional and a very different show than many years past. If anyone's ever watched that show,
For
then
sure. Yeah. No. It'd be a big moment for
and I
sure.
can tell you that that College Game Day, which all started by Lee Corso, of who was the former coach and player from Army and Navy, as a player and coach, that without him, the show is not the same,
certainly.
and that's one of the things that I find for Lee Corso for being by far the most entertainer and really the show that you just watched on ESPN, which I thought was very struck by after watching it, and he would always say stuff like in the show called "Not so fast, my friend," and that show that I've always watched as a college
Good
football fan
impression.
myself every Saturday.
Oh, was
It's
Oh, yeah.
of those few words is not going to be said after his final show from retirement. It's really not going to be the same. Not going to have a same feel from once the final show is set and done. But yeah, it'll be very emotional and very special to watch for sure.
J-Dog, I always love when they gave him firearms, whenever they would shoot, they let him shoot guns. I mean, it
Oh
was
yeah,
all,
that will be at
I mean,
Oklahoma.
cannons.
Yeah,
you
oh
never
yeah.
know what was going to happen.
I remember that one, Grant. It was at Oklahoma State, and yeah, that was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
No, for sure. I'm tempted to do a not so fast on my own because I know you guys have talked a lot about Ohio State, but I think got to give a lot of respect to Texas here, being an underdog. I think they're ranked number one in the nation for a reason. I think they did lose a lot of contributors on both sides of the ball, but I think Texas, they have such immense resources in terms of NIL portal bringing in
Oil.
guys,
Yes.
placing. They're well funded, Grant.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know.
They,
And
they did okay in the transfer portal.
exactly.
Yeah,
And I think
Did
Arch
more than
Manning has a lot of weapons. The defense
Yeah.
is reloaded there, so I'm personally high on Texas. I think they're going to win this ball game. I don't know if you agree, Mike, but
I think Coach Sark has got the Longhorns ready.
yeah,
He's got them running just like Saban had the Alabama teams
yeah,
a few years ago. I mean, Sark learned from Saban.
he's a good coach for sure.
I
Good
think,
tactician. Yeah,
Texas has got something to prove. They lost in the semifinals to Ohio State 28-14.
Hmm.
But I think the key is going to be, I predict Colin Simmons is going to get multiple sacks
Mm.
on
Oh,
Julian Sayin.
Texas defensive player. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like that. I
I
like
think
that.
Sayin doesn't have, Arch Manning. It's one of his first starts, but look at Sayin. He doesn't have the experience either.
We're not too sure about him. I mean, he's a bit of a question mark, obviously, coming into that Ohio State team taking
And
over.
I think the other key to Texas victory is going to be their dual running backs.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a
Yeah.
tough game on the ground, but
Yeah.
I got to go with the Longhorn backfield on this one.
All right. All right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Blake Limburger, you want to split the picks here? Do you have a prediction for this matchup?
Well, they're calling this the Rules Bowl because these are the two teams that love rules. Texas administration said, don't put our horns upside down. And then Ohio State said, hey, now
Horns
that you're
down.
making rules, don't let Portnoy come to our shit. But some people call it soft, some people like rules.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, man, when you got the Mannings behind you, that guy's going to be so dialed in on game film.
Yeah,
Arch
Cooper and Peyton and Eli. Yeah.
That's right. He's just been itching for this moment. I can't believe he stayed around so long and didn't transfer out. Good for him. Jackson, as they say, and the state of everything is bigger. Hook 'em horns.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh, I
All
think
right.
you've got a
Okay.
challenge here, Blake, because I'm telling you right now, Julian saying, from what he says, um, for the Buckeyes fans, they're especially for those who are listening in Columbus, so up there in Columbus, up there in the heart of the state, in the middle of the state, up there in the capital city, up there at the Ohio State University campus, they are all going to say horns down, and Julian saying from the head coach Ryan Day is going to say just when, as I read from articles from ESPN, that is how it's going to. That is how I see it, and I said before, I'm going to say
Yeah.
it again, that the Buckeyes are going to win this game slightly over the Longhorns, and that's how I see it playing out.
Mess with
But
the bull, you get the horns.
That's what they
Oh,
say.
that's
there
what
we
I'd say
go.
too. And so yeah, the biggest story. But yeah, the biggest story. The big story overall. Yeah.
Lee
Lee
Corso.
Corso.
Yeah.
Um, Final show. Not going to be the same. Hard to replace him, and especially with um, when I think of college, the first show, College Game Day, it is similar to shows like Inside the NBA on TNT, but it's all for those college football, any of those college football pregame shows you watch, sports shows that is, and so and so there's that, and so you have Lee Kersel. So there's that, and then you have the number ESPN legend that does the college basketball stuff. None other than Dickie V, Dick Vitale, baby. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
baby.
And those people are by far the most paid analysts of all of the network of ESPN. So yeah,
Jackson, I got a
definitely a
question.
class human being for sure.
Jackson, I got a question for your buddies, the SEC experts. There was a show on Netflix uh, about the SEC, and that there
Yeah,
were teams
any
that
SEC, I don't think you're really talking about Blake Lumber.
and there were a few schools that did not get a lot of coverage, and I'm assuming they were not allowed. Texas was on that list. Georgia was
Yes.
on that list. Alabama did not get a lot of coverage. Do your buddies know why those schools didn't really appear? Actually, Tennessee, aside from one little interview, didn't get a lot of coverage. Were they not allowed in? I don't know if your buddy's got an insight into the SEC and what happened with
I
that.
think Kirby Smart didn't want to have the cameras rolling during practice or during the games, Blake, to answer your question.
Yeah, he's trying to keep those cards close to his chest, I think.
It's smart. That's
Especially with
smart.
a new quarterback, they don't want to show what they're doing. So it's a big question mark, but I think they'll show a little bit against Marshall. We'll see
I hope so. Yeah.
what kind of
And
yards they can put up.
But I know that they did with the Vanderbilt quarterback, the former school that my brother went to school at against
Yeah, they needed the PR, so
Fabio. Yeah,
Get him
he
the
was
exactly.
like the star of the
PR.
show there.
Get
That
him
was
on the
really good
show.
PR.
That's right.
I think so, Jackson. Let's go ahead and jump to the other big matchup on Saturday. Also, Grant has definitely a big interest in this one, the Tiger Bowl they're calling it. LSU
Oh
Oh,
uh,
yes.
heading over to is that at Clemson, right? Grant, this game is yeah, yeah.
It is in the real Death Valley. Yes.
Death Valley
the
versus
Death
Death
Valley
Valley,
Bowl. Yeah.
Tiger versus Tiger. I mean, there's so many storylines here. Big matchup, big implications early in the season as well. I think probably some. I think it looks like Clemson is, about a field goal favorite in this one, as you'd expect being at home. Grant, any insight or lean you have into this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think this one will be pretty simple for me. Obviously, I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. The orange and regalia. But obviously, growing up in Louisiana, I know how tough the LSU Tigers are. I know that the fiber of that program, what it's built on. It's got some great history, but on Saturday, I think that the Clemson Tigers will shine through for the simple fact that it's the line of scrimmage game, right? You had four guys get drafted off of the LSU offensive line in the past year. They've had to replace them with guys from the transfer portal and different places. They've got one guy left who's a good player, and I think they've got a lot of great pieces at LSU. I just think it's too much, too soon for that team. They're facing off against Vic Burley and T.J. Parker and all these guys on the Clemson defensive line, which is looking of the older earlier I guess 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016 kind of feel. So I think that the defense is going to be too much, but I will say Clemson's got a new defensive coordinator. He was the guy who was at Penn State last year.
Tom
I
Allen.
think yes, exactly, Tom Allen. So I think he will be a factor. I think he's got his defense established. I think the biggest problem Clemson had last year was stopping the run and doing a good job on defense. I know that they're going to have the offense dialed in, light the scoreboard up. You've got a lot of weapons on offense that are all coming back. Cade Klubnik, obviously, he's got all we've all this hype, which I'm worried about. But I think like the good thing is a lot of mature people in that program that have been there, done that. They are all been around and know exactly what to do. And no game, it's every single game is the biggest game of the year for them. I know the fiber of the program and what it's built on, and that's the stance they're taking. So I think
Hey
um,
Grant,
they'll be in
how
there.
do you feel about the? Is it true that Dabo made the 16-0 comment? And what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the first one again, he said it in 2018 for that team to be like, hey, like we're the first team to ever be 15-0, which is true. So, and again, a lot of people don't talk about the 2018 Clemson team as one of the best teams that's ever done the CFP. Obviously, a lot of talk about the 19 LSU team, all of that, all those draft picks, everything. But again, they were 15-0, and somebody's got to be first to be 16-0. So I think, and Dabo's not in the business. He always says. There's a Bible verse he quotes where it's like you run the race in which to win. You run the race. I'm blowing that, but it's like you run the race in which to win instead of you're not just running the race to run the race. So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised he's making comments like that, Blake, for sure.
So do we think maybe Klubnik versus Nussmeier for LSU, right? Kind of two experienced quarterbacks. So I think maybe
Hmm.
a high scoring game here, possibly.
I mean, I think it'll be maybe more of both teams reach the mid 20s. I would say like Clemson, 34, LSU 24. Like that's kind of where I'm seeing it. But Garrett Nussmeier, obviously he's going to go out there and make some plays. They've got some guys. I mean, it's not like they got scholarships too. They got money. They're paying their players just like everybody else is. I mean, it's going to be a good matchup. But I just think that offense and defensive line, that matchup of defensive line of Clemson versus LSU's offensive line, I think it's just gonna be too much, and they'll be one dimensional quickly, and that'll be a problem for them. Again, I watched them against Bama last year live, similar feel. And
Yeah.
I hope LSU's got some defensive guys because I mean last year I watched them get ran all over by Jalen Milroe. So hopefully that they fix that problem. We'll have a little bit better of a game there.
Grant, I just finished watching the the Dabo Sweeney and Bill Belichick special, and they talked
Ooh.
about how they played each other and how Bill Belichick played the New England Patriots in for Boston for Boston College and for Pitt and for those guys in the college level and how Dabo Sweeney has built his football training facility into like a elementary school kids playground, like he goes down the slide and and how they have those dart how they have dart knife and miniature golf, something that no other football facility has. In fact, I wish. In fact, I was nice enough to tour about the tour of the college football facility at Duke University, and they don't have any of that because Clemson is so special, and
No slides at all.
they don't have anything like
Excellent.
Clemson does. Yeah, exactly. And so that's something that I'm so struck by of how I said to myself, man, I wish we had that. But Clemson is so cool, and so is Dabo, and there's nothing quite like it of how great of a recruiting class they have, especially with how nice their facilities are and how they and how clean and neat they keep the place. And but at Duke University and for the football facility, we don't we're, we're not like that. And I guess Clemson is just a lot special that way. And so for me, turn my attention to this game. As for how it's going to go down, so Brian Kelly is 0-6 all time in season openers. That's got
Yikes.
to change. And if you watch his post game press
Hopefully.
conference last year, there was some anger, and
He's an
and
angry
he was
guy.
not happy, and his team and his team is so frustrated, and he did not have a great look on his face, and that says it all right there. And so to me, if that happens again, then yeah, he's going to have a similar situation for his post game press conference. But something's got to give, like you said, Grant, because LSU with Brian Kelly of how great of a coach he is, especially when he was in the military, having watched him a lot in the SEC any given Saturdays series on Netflix, that I can tell you that he is a tough, hardworking coach guy, and he knows what he's doing. He's doing the best he can for his football team, of treating his players well. And I think for Gus, and then I think for Garrett Nussmeier, he has got to limit his turnovers and not turn over the ball too much, and just try to and just try to get the ball out of your hands quick to one of your receivers or running backs for your passing your running game, or else this Clemson defense is going to be blitzing and facing pressure on you and possibly a turnover or a higher interception ratio. You got to limit your turnovers, or else Clemson's going to dominate and 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 really be advantage of your crowd in Death Valley, and that's really my the key for me for this game. And so also, Grant, I was watching this Disney show on Disney Plus called Safety, also filmed in Clemson. So yeah, a lot of Clemson love for how they got filming for those other than the SEC Netflix media show. But yeah, but yeah, but but yeah, but yeah, again for me,
Okay.
key for the game, LSU, Gus Meyer, just limit your turnovers and don't turn over the ball too much. That's how you win the game. So limit your turnovers. Don't turn it over. Don't turn over the ball too much. You don't, especially against Clemson, where you don't want it, where you don't want to do it in a hostile environment. Is take the crowd out of it. Just limit your turnovers, and you'll be just fine. That's the keys for LSU to win that game.
Okay. All right. Langston, what do you think?
I think it's a really interesting matchup. For me, it's more interesting even than the Ohio State Texas game, and the reason is Jackson hit on this. Brian Kelly has a lot of pressure on him, especially in the opener, and Dabo's got a lot of pressure on him too after these past couple of years. So. I think both of these coaches are in a situation where not quite on the hot seat, but maybe in a year or two, they might not still be with these programs. So it's a big game. I think it has some playoff implications, like Texas and Ohio State. I think both of those teams are going to be in the playoff, but I could see LSU maybe not making the playoff if they lose this game. And I could also see Clemson in the same situation with the strength of schedule. Last year,
God.
Clemson averaged
Give me a break.
13. They averaged 13 points, I think, against SEC opponents. They played
Oh
three
my
SEC
God.
teams. They averaged 40 points against non-SEC opponents. So
Wow.
I'm concerned with if they can put up enough points here. I do think they're going to win. I think it's going to be a tight game. I really think it's the home field is the main difference, though. I know Grant hates
He's
to
bringing the
hear
stats out,
that,
Grant.
but I think they lost to who'd they lose to? South Carolina
Yeah,
last year.
In
I'm glad
Georgia.
you
Yeah,
brought it
I
up.
North
Yeah,
remember. I was
Carolina.
there.
Tennessee.
I know.
hey, look,
And,
hey, look,
and
hey,
there's another one they lost
They
to.
well,
lost to
yeah,
Louisville as
Oh
well
yeah.
on the road or at
they
home,
lost
which
to
is not
North
great.
Sellers in South Carolina. Yes, yeah. Sorry to bring it up, Rand,
Yep.
but South Carolina was a better team that
They were
on
pretty
that
good
day.
last year.
So yeah, we're North Sellers and the Gamecocks. They actually they
The
actually
background.
yeah. Wow, I can't
BK.
believe that. Brian
BK.
Kelly's background. Well, I can't believe he just
Classic
did that.
BK. He's slamming tables
Um,
back there.
but yeah, with North Sellers, yeah, they surprised people last season, and who knows, maybe we can do it again. I didn't expect to see a Brian
It's
Kelly picture on our a Zoom picture on our show.
it's too early for me to get my
Jackson,
blood
you know what
pressure up
else?
here.
You
That's
know what
good.
else you didn't expect? This
What
next
what's
sound
that,
clip.
Blake?
Here, you ready for the ultimate year? South Carolina and Clemson will play each other in the final game. They will both be one loss away from getting booted out of the playoffs, and that game is going to mean everything.
Wow.
That's the soundbite you need right there. This
That's
is going to be
And
a
it's,
three
and
I
it's
like
in
loss.
that
Columbia, which
early
is
prediction.
not the place you want to be. I'm hoping the Chickens get beat by the Hokies on Sunday, but
That's an
And
interesting game.
yeah,
Hey,
and and plus and plus you're going to have to deal with the sandstorm and
oh my
those
God.
Oh,
waving towels everywhere.
it ain't
That's
swinging. They ain't playing at Willie B. Jackson.
No.
No. Fair
that,
enough.
Not on. Hey, they're playing at the Benz on Sunday, Jackson. So we'll
yeah.
hopefully the
Yeah, they're taking on.
confines are unfriendly.
They're taking on the Virginia Tech Hokies, who I don't know
Yeah.
if you know, but Coach Shane Beamer used to actually be on a head coach for them and on the coaching staff on them.
Yeah.
If you look at Coach Shane Beamer's history, he has had a coaching history for coaching for many teams, Tennessee, Georgia, and now Virginia Tech, and now South Carolina. So yeah, Coach Shane Beamer has been everywhere during his coaching tenure of his college career.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jackson, what do you like better, turkey or chicken? What do you like eating
Hmm.
better? What's
If I had
better?
to, I like both, but if I had to choose one, I would probably have to say turkey.
Okay.
Oh,
All
wow.
right. He's going with the Virginia Tech Hokies. All right. Let's
You
go.
picked the wrong one, Jackson. Technically, Hokie versus Cock, I guess, is the
The Gamecock.
Gamecock even.
First of all, Blake, I thought both Hoagies and Gamecocks are both chickens. I guess I'm wrong.
They're not too far away, but
I
yeah,
thought one of them was a turkey. I guess not. I may not
I
know
don't
my
know a
birds
Hokie.
that much.
they're kind of in the
I
same
know what a
ballpark.
hokie is, honestly. I
Yeah,
know it's
yeah.
a bird, but it's
It's
more
a
turkey-like, maybe.
it's a turkey.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
a
I feel like
turkey.
Mike would know.
It's a
Yeah,
turkey.
We needed the Virginia knowledge there. I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
you're
Okay,
you helped us there.
fair enough, fair enough. All
That's
right,
right.
well, let's go ahead and jump to the third big matchup of this weekend. Also, one that I think Grant would have some knowledge on, being the classic Notre Dame Miami game
Oh, yeah.
on Sunday evening.
So many
Another
games.
6
Yeah.
versus 10
At
um,
Miami.
matchup here. Yes, Mike, in Miami.
Right in the Hard Rock Stadium.
Mike
We're
is there right
set.
now. He's scoping out tickets for us.
Well,
He's getting there early.
that's where the championship game is going to be played on January
Okay.
19th.
Oh,
So
Correct.
that's
I
why
didn't know
I'm
that.
here.
It is.
The road to Miami, the road to
I'm
Miami.
just early.
For
I
sure,
love it.
for sure. Another big matchup. Obviously, Miami has aspirations for the ACC. Notre Dame coming off a good season, making it to the championship. Obviously, falling a little bit short, but big matchup here throughout the year for sure. Obviously, would be a big win, a big loss for either team. Getting off on the right or the wrong foot here. Obviously, Carson Beck coming into Miami, hoping to get them off the mark against their classic rival Notre Dame. So Grant, what do you see about this matchup? Obviously, anytime these two teams come together, it's bound to be a big matchup, right?
Yeah, I mean Catholics versus convicts. It goes back, way before I was even born. And so I think I think the biggest thing is going to be the offensive line for Miami to be able to assert their dominance. Here's the thing. Again, Langston has some choice words for Carson Beck, I'm sure, after the season he gave the Georgia Bulldogs last year. But in reality, if he's healthy and he can take care of the ball and he's got some guys to throw to, he's a great quarterback. I think I'm going to give you an example of if as long as Mario Cristobal takes him and shakes him a little bit and says, "Hey, if you don't turn the ball over, we're going to win 10 games." I think my father's team will be in good shape. So I think that the Canes, again, I don't think home field advantage is as large as it is in other places there. I think it's a great environment and atmosphere. Please go buy tickets at the Canes website for Legend Sports. I mean, please go support the program. That's definitely helping pay my parents' bills. But I think the game will really be won and lost in the trenches with the Miami offensive line leaning on them, asserting their dominance, and then I think that unless the Notre Dame quarterback can make a few throws, and hopefully, again, hopefully he's getting assaulted by a new look Miami defense that is going to play well,
Is
right?
it is
Like,
it a freshman quarterback for Notre Dame? Is that right? Is it CJ Carr or redshirt freshman, I
Is
think?
he? Yeah, he might be
I think he's
redshirt.
a
Yeah,
red
yeah.
shirt guy.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned for Notre Dame here with him. I'm also really interested in Miami's secondary. Last year, they were the worst unit, one of the worst units, honestly, in the country. But they retooled a lot. They got a lot of guys out of the portal, and I've heard that there's a lot of improvement there. So if that secondary can at least play in like, let's say 50th in the country instead of 100, I think they'll be a much better team. I agree. I mean, Beck's a pretty good quarterback. I think last year he was a little off, and there was a lot of receivers that had a lot of drops at Georgia that impacted him as well. It seemed like though some of those drops he threw a little behind, so I'm for Miami's sake, if he can improve slightly, I think it'll be they could have a pretty big season. So I like Miami to win in this game.
Nice. Jackson, how do you see this one?
So Notre Dame is um, is going to be going into a environment where you're going to have to deal with the hot Florida humidity down there in South Florida. It's going to
It's
be
gonna be hot.
very very warm, very hot, very very toasty, like hot like oven. But 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 honestly, Notre Dame just has to take care of the football and just try to not limit on your turnovers. Like I said in the previous in the last game. For Notre Dame, they just got to for Notre Dame, CJ Carr and Jeremiah Love and their star players have to really show up, or
Good
else
running back.
or else they're just going to probably lose. And let's remember, Notre Dame, if they lose against Miami, they are going to have a tough schedule this season. That's actually that's actually going to be my underperforming team, which is Notre Dame. Is that
So
if you lose,
Notre Dame's could be in for a disappointing season then?
well, I do because you look at their schedule. It's the hardest strength, and it's the most difficult one in the country. They have to go to
Is that true? Oh, wow.
yes. So if you drop this game against Miami, now you're gonna have to find yourselves against A&M at home, and which is going to be a primetime game on NBC and Peacock,
Of course.
and then of course you have to go, and then of course of course after that, after against Purdue, things get a little bit more tricky. You have to go to Fayetteville to take on the Arkansas Razorbacks against
Yeah, woo pig, woo
Suey.
pig.
Yeah, and then you have to go to Pitt, and then you got
Tough game in
USC,
Pitt.
NC State, and yeah, I think if I'm Notre Dame, I would be looking at probably a 8-9, 9-9 season. I'm guessing not a 10-win season or 11 win season. 11 game season.
You got him
under
going to
Marcus
the
Freeman.
CarQuest Bowl, it sounds like.
Yeah,
They'll be lucky
pretty
to make
much.
that.
That's what I'm hearing, pretty much.
All
Under
right,
Mark
Jackson
Freeman's
Griffin,
resume,
you
yes.
heard it here first. All the
Yep.
Catholics listening, you're going to the CarQuest Bowl. Have a safe trip down to Orlando, Florida. Make sure you get your fast passes.
Yeah, no, I do get where you're coming from, Jack, because they did obviously I mean, you might say they overachieved last year, making it to the championship. So maybe you'd say based off of that high standard they set, they might maybe not quite reach that height. So I definitely get where you're coming from. I don't know, Mike, what do you see
Yeah.
in this game?
I think it's going to be the closest game. It's going to be tough. I mean, Notre Dame has got two good running backs in Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price.
Mhm.
And they also have a freshman, Nolan James Jr., that's supposed to be really, really good.
Okay.
But, Miami's got their two returning defensive ends.
Yep.
And they got Jordan Lyle, who could be the best running back in University of Miami's history. And I think it comes down to Carson Beck having a good game. Now, depending on if he's healthy.
Yeah. Right.
If he's recovered from his injury from last year,
Oh, right.
he should be. He should be
It
good.
was like a shoulder or something, or yeah.
Elbow.
Or elbow, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he was probably banged up a lot during the season last year, and that could have affected some of those throws that were close
Behind.
So, yeah, it's an interesting game for
Yeah.
sure. I do like your comment about those running backs that Notre Dame has. A lot of it'll hinge on their play.
Yeah. Ground and
Yeah.
pound for sure. Notre Dame strategy.
Yeah, I have the U winning this game by 3.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Tight one. Yeah, I think I'm with you, Mike. I think it's gonna be a close one. But I think that home field, that humidity, South Florida, kind of just pushed it over the edge for the Canes. For me as well, personally.
Miami by 4.
Yeah.
Okay, 4. There you go. Blake Lamberger, do you have a pick for this game?
This is the Hurricanes.
Yeah, Miami Notre
Yes.
Dame.
Miami Notre Dame down in Miami, down in Hard Rock Stadium. Yes.
Listen, there's a guy named Paul J. Brown this is no joke. He's going to the Congo to do a documentary, and he's meeting with one of the warlords in the Congo. And Jackson, if I told you that he is rearranging his trip to the Congo just to stay and watch the Notre Dame game, and then he's going to come back early, God willing, the supreme leader of the Congo lets him out, and he doesn't crack too many jokes, he's going to come back early to watch Notre Dame play again. For Paul J. Brown, who is a lifelong Notre Dame fan, who has a statue of the guy that leads Notre Dame. What's the guy's name? The band member with the large hat. Anybody know what his name is?
The band guy with the large hat.
I don't know. No.
I wish I had the answer to that.
Somebody knows who this is. He's got a name, but anyway, who shoves the cane in the ground, all that, spins the cane around. Anyway, he's got a wooden statue by his guy. So Jackson, Notre Dame. Listen, they get to choose their schedule. How could they not go to the playoffs every year? Notre Dame, unfortunately. But listen, the U Part 3 is going to happen. It's just not going to happen yet. We got to get Irvin, all these guys, Olsen back on board to make the U Part 3.
Hey, don't forget about Jimmy Johnson too, who was by one of the greatest coach in the program's history. So
hey, Jimmy Johnson's going to be with my dad at this game. He's sitting in the box with him.
Oh, maybe he'll bring that in.
Is he really? Wow.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson will be in Dan's box.
That pushes me over the edge. I think they're gonna.
Yeah,
they're gonna cover with that information.
Hopefully, Jerry Jones isn't in the same box, is he?
Jerry Jones not going to be in that box.
Well, it'll be Sunday. Well, it's still not NFL yet. So.
Jerry's going to Arkansas, whoever they're playing first.
Yeah, he'll probably be up in Arkansas.
Fair enough. Well, I think we've covered some ground on some of these big matchups. Jackson, I think you had a couple of predictions kind of for the overall season as you see it going, right? Some teams you think might do well, some things you might underachieve in your national champion pick. Is that right?
That's right, Blake. And there's already a game going on right now, and we got Boise State up 7. Well, they were up 7-0. Now it's 10-7 USF down in Tampa, the home of the University of South Florida Bulls, and that game is happening right now on ESPN. But as far as the rest of the season goes, so here's how I see it playing out for the rest of the season. So I have Arch Manning winning the Heisman. I have the surprise team. I have Lenore Sellers. I thought about this. I thought about going either DJ Agway from Florida and Lenore Sellers, South Carolina. Well, I thought about it, but I'm actually leaning towards Lenore Sellers of South Carolina. If he stays healthy and his team has a great year, then I think his team could be going to the playoff once if his team gets it right. And I think that and I think Lenore Sellers will be the guy to get the job done and finished once it's all said and done for his team. And as far as the rest of the and then let's see. So in the Big Ten, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes win the Big Ten. I have Clemson winning the ACC.
Let's go.
I have Texas winning the SEC, and then in the
Big 12.
in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
There's nobody left in the Big 12, is there?
well.
There's 16 teams, but
Couldn't name any of them.
I'm
We don't know who
They
it
don't
is.
play any defense.
So I'm going to say Iowa State wins the Big Ten.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
You love Rocco.
Oh, I do.
All
Who
right.
doesn't? And so
He played
my,
good last week.
and so my sleeper team for the
Rocco
SEC,
Rocco
I
back.
have Florida
Ooh.
as a sleeper team. Dark horse. DJ Agaway, if he stays healthy,
Lagway.
Bagway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bagway, if he stays healthy, then I think his team could possibly make a run into the playoffs if his team
Got a lot of talent.
yeah, that's right. If his team gets it right gets it right and stays healthy the entire season, then I think the Gators will have a great year overall. And then my surprise team for the Big Ten, I'm gonna go with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Oh.
Interesting.
They're going to surprise some people. And I think,
Panic?
Are they?
and then for my surprise Big 12 team, I'm going to go with the West Virginia Mountaineers. They just hired a new coach this past offseason.
Rich Rod.
Rich
Let's
Rod,
go.
yeah, that's right. Rodriguez
He
and
came
Rich,
back. Yeah.
Rich Ross can the Mountaineers are back, and the
I love you in
and
Morgantown.
and the fans of Morgantown are going to be excited for, and they can't wait to see him back to get this program back towards once was before in the right direction. So
Hide your couches. There's going to be some couches burning. In
Oh,
Morgantown.
yeah.
Be
Oh, yeah.
careful. Hopefully the fire department.
don't be ready for it, Grant. You know it. And then and then my surprise ACC team, I am going to be going with my Duke Blue Devils.
Oh,
okay. I thought you were going to say Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels there for a second.
Well, I thought about it for a second, but I think, listen, no disrespect, they can be a surprise team too. But I think their transfer quarterback is going to have some question marks for me. But I think that Bill Belichick. But I'll tell you what, Grant, that Bill Belichick versus Devil Sweeney matchup is going to be fun to watch. I'm probably going to be tuning into it. I know you will, but yeah, I mean, Bill Belichick. Grant, I don't know if you saw that Bill Belichick and Devil Sweeney special. I've watched it and I've watched it, and so I have watched it, and my biggest takeaway from it is that how actually they coach one another, and they actually get along very well. And Devil Sweeney was actually involved. Actually knows some players from the Patriots organization along with Bill Belichick, and they were actually great friends. And now that Bill Belichick was actually assistant for one of his family coaching assistants at UNC, and then before that at the United States Military Academy up in Navy, and I think that this matchup between Bill Belichick and Devil Sweeney in November, this game is being played in Chapel Hill, so.
I tell you what, Bill's not having any fun. Dabo's having more fun because the fun's in the winning. Dabo's going to win the game. I mean, what are we talking about?
He's going to be taught a college football
I'll tell you what
lesson
I'm
there,
talking
Jack.
about, and that I live in Durham, and I'm very close to the big three ACC schools. I could easily see myself watching Clemson in one of those venues, which I would definitely be worth a treat if my family were to make it to one of those venues, including Duke University. So that would be worth the trip. I'm talking about schools like nearby me, including NC State, right, not far from where Beverly Blake is, and Duke, where I am, and then UNC. I mean, look, we got options. So I feel like to me, the family can be a part of it, and I think that we could just enjoy it and just watch some college football, and that's what I'm all here for.
What's your what's your title pick, Jack? Your national champion.
All right, national championship. Here we go. So, I'm sorry to say this, Grant, but I have Texas beating the Clemson Tigers in the national championship game. And Arch Manning will win the Heisman Trophy. He will win Most Valuable Player, and it's either going to be DJ Algaway or North Sellers to win a dark horse for the Heisman Trophy, and then I think Garrett and then I think Caleb Nugart and Garrett Stockmeyer will also be contenders to win the Heisman, but I still have Arch Manning win the Heisman.
Just going Texas heavy here, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody in Austin's going to love my pick because especially the Manning brothers,
especially Matthew McConaughey.
Well,
so you got them. So you got them losing game one, and you just think they're going on a war path.
That's true. That. You did pick against Ohio State.
I know what you're talking about, Grant, because I go back to last year when those teams met each other out in Austin, where Texas was the clear winner in that game, and I can tell you right now, yes, it will be a rematch, but I still have Texas winning it all because they're the title odds favorites to win the Natty, and then to follow up on the Heisman, so Caleb Newbegar and Gus Musmeyer will be contenders, but I just think it's too much for Arch Manning to be untouched, and by the way, Grant, this will actually be the first time that a Manning has won the Heisman, which
true.
Yeah. And if you remember, Eli Manning never won it. Peyton Manning never won it because they got snubbed Peyton Manning got snubbed by Charles Woodson from Michigan back in that year, and I think that something's got to be said. So.
And his granddaddy didn't win it.
Yeah,
Archie.
That's right, Mike. Hopefully this time around they will get it right.
I just don't think they're going to give it to him. You know.
I mean,
they just don't like the Mannings.
They don't like the Mannings.
But Heisman does not like the Mannings. I don't know.
The game of the season.
Well, yeah.
The game of the season is going to be next week.
Well, you don't know that until you see it.
Which one?
At Georgia Tech.
Oh, okay.
The Gardner-Webb running Bulldogs.
Oh, wow.
Playing at Georgia Tech in week 2.
Upset alert. Is that an upset alert?
I tell you what, I was at a Georgia Tech Gardner-Webb game, 2000, early, late aughts. And let me tell you, Gardner-Webb almost beat you. I think they had Georgia Tech was down to their third string quarterback, and Gardner-Webb should have won the game, and we ended up, barely winning. But yes, I have seen the running Bulldogs go to the flats and take them to the wire. So everyone better tune in.
Place your bets now.
That's the upset of the season.
Go Dogs. How about my other alma mater, Charleston Southern, old Jamie Chadwell, where he got his start before going to the Chance, and now at Liberty, who last year kind of disappointed some people. People thought they're going to be the wild card. Did they have a chance this year to sneak in the playoffs?
They got that Jerry Falwell money over there. I mean, they've got plenty of resources.
Didn't he transfer to Slater from Liberty transferred to Colorado?
Oh wow. Okay.
He's the new starter for Dion up there.
He's the new starter for Dion.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get. I mean, you guys got all the notes here. Like, you can't remember who's on which team anymore.
A lot of movement going on.
Everybody just decides they're going to go play in a new uniform. I think they just want to collect a bunch of jerseys, honestly, with their names on.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Everybody needs a big ego wall.
There you go. Well, I think we've covered some pretty big college matchups here on Good Guy Sports. We give them some big predictions. You got anything before we got to get out of here, Jack? But any last college football thoughts here?
Yes. Real quick before we get ourselves out of here, I'm going to throw out another upset for you. If I can think of one. Let's see. How about How about North Dakota against Kansas State?
Incredible pick, Jackson. They're coming back from Ireland, and notoriously teams that go play in that game have a tough week the next week. So I love that pick. In North Dakota, as an FCS gentleman myself from Mercer, North Dakota, tough team in the God, I believe they're in the Sun Valley. No,
What are they?
they're in anyway, their
They're
conference is tough.
FCS.
Ohio
I
Valley.
thought North Dakota's FCS still, right?
They are. But I think again, tough team tough to trip coming back from Ireland. Team drank a lot of Guinness after the game. That's what I heard. I don't know. I mean, all the people who were of age, they all had Guinnesses. I mean, look,
I did, yeah.
I know for a fact that if you go try to play a football game after drinking a Guinness, you're gonna have a tough time. So
yeah,
I think
Blake, I'm gonna throw
That's a good pick.
BL Lumberg, I'm gonna throw another upset for you, and this involves the team that surprised people from last season. Illinois State. Remember them? Well,
the Redbirds.
Well, that's right. Well,
No,
they
I
went
don't
into South
remember
Bend and they stunned and upset the Fighting Irish on their home field. Remember that, Blake? And that was
that's when he cried. I think that's when the coach cried.
Yeah, that's right. And that was a heartbreaker for PJ Brown. But yes, that was Blake, that was a very.
That's why he's going to the Congo.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. And yes, and that was a very. That's right, Blake. And that was, like you said, a very emotional win for what the Northern Illinois coach had went through, and he finally got his wish. And that's all I got to say to that.
All right.
Fair enough. Well, we got some exciting matchups. You got a really great college football season to look forward to. We'll definitely be covering it here on Good Guys Sports. So just want to thank everyone here listening and viewing at home. And thanks to Jackson Gerke, Mike Roby, Blake, and Grant as well. And thanks, Grant, for bringing on another special guest as well. Thank you to Langston. Shout out Langston. Happy to have you guys. Absolutely. And look forward to a great college football season. So signing off, Good Guy Sports. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
you.
Go
Duke Blue Devils. Let's go, Duke.